Episode 22, part 3. As Steve and I were just discussing, pretty much everything else in the news, obviously there's news, but everything else from the files to the healthcare to ICE, it's new developments on old shit. And so we're going to go a slightly different route for this part 3 and then call it good. As you may have noticed, this is coming from a slightly different place because it's a new account. So my wife wanted me to do a whole series or essay or something about losing one's digital identity. So let me take 60 seconds to get things up to speed. So growing up, blah, 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 you know, Gen X, and the first loss of digital identity that I can remember, I don't know how many of you remember GeoCities. The important thing for me is I learned some HTML doing that. And then around 2004, 2005, they took down that website, and I was like, oh, fuck, I had some pictures up there, they're gone. MySpace wasn't really a big deal for me. I don't know why, it just kind of wasn't. More recently, like, what was it? Mid-COVID, I lost my Facebook account for political reasons. And then the nasty part about that is when I started it up again, I had to start paying Facebook because they were doing things to my secondary account. And then about a year ago, I've been having a really good run with Twitter, and well, we know what Musk did, so I jumped off that after I realized certain things. And then fast forward to last Sunday, and I was tired. That's first caveat. When you're really tired, it's kind of almost like being drunk. And so I got stupid, and my primary TikTok account got hacked. The individual at one point said, hey, if you pay me $500, I'll give you your account back.
I am interested in the details.
Yeah, I told him I wasn't going to pay that much.
But I mean, not those details about like what you clicked on.
Well, what I clicked on, okay, we'll go into it. We'll go into it. The stupid part was that I didn't just click, but I kept clicking. I think if I had just clicked once, I might have been okay, but I was so tired that I was like, I'm not.
I get hundreds of these, and I don't even have a large account at all.
Yeah,
of these people trying to DM me that I don't even know.
Well,
then I just delete
and 99% of the time I would have been smart enough, and I just, for some reason,
it interests you for some reason.
No, I don't know. You know how sometimes like you're walking off a cliff and you start running and it's like, boom! That's metaphorically.
But anyway, what interests you enough to even read the damn thing?
I don't know what interested me. What it was though is somebody whose videos I'd watched.
So somebody who actually kind of knew.
Well, kind of, sort of. Like I hadn't had a DM experience with this person before, but I'd watched her videos.
Oh,
and then
maybe her shit got hacked.
You know, her shit did get hacked. I think that's what happened. So then she had a thing about, hey, help me out here. Do
this
thing.
Explains a little bit.
So it wasn't.
Because I'm just thinking, what the fuck are you doing?
It wasn't totally out of nowhere.
Okay, so that helps. That helps.
Right, but where I got stupid is I clicked on it and it didn't seem to be working. So then, like probably half a dozen times or more.
So it wasn't a total brain fart.
No, it wasn't a total brain fart. Anyways, but at this point, I can see that they've been deleting my videos and whatever, and I don't know how much of it was targeted or how much of it was I just got careless. But that account is basically gone. The good part is I'd started a backup account a year ago, and that's what I'm sharing this to you from.
Right.
So just the mind fuck of losing one's digital identity, because I mean, I got into the point of somewhat successfully but not consistently monetizing that account. And I'd connected with all kinds of people, and I'd done all kinds of things, and we've been sharing these videos through there, and that's gone now. And only the frustrating part is people are still trying to communicate with me, the real me, through there, and I can see it, but I can't do anything about it. Like I will see in my email that, oh, somebody tried to contact that account.
Right.
Now I have to get back to that person and tell them, you're contacting a hacked account. This is the new account, and it's just frustrating.
I know this is probably hopeless, but I don't know anything about this. Did you try to get a hold of TikTok?
I did. I made multiple attempts. I also had an agency that I'm sort of working with now, but I hadn't started working with them yet, and they said, "Oh well, if you pay us $100, we might be able to help you." And I don't know. Once again, it's like, you know, if I had a high confidence that this would actually work, I probably would have given you the money. But it was like, nah.
I'm not. Fuck.
Right.
I'm already in the hole.
You know where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
I
don't need to think. SEO. I'll get your site number one.
Anyways, I know. There are three aspects that I'm trying to touch on, and then Steve can say whatever he wants about any or all of them. One is just watch yourself mentally, because what I've noticed about both myself and other people who have gotten hacked is that they're not. People who get hacked aren't normally stupid. And when I say not stupid, I don't mean like we're ignorant. We know the right things to do and not do online to protect yourself. It's just when you just
let your guard down for 1 second.
Right, you let your guard down, and that's all it takes. Like my wife almost got hit right around the time that my son was born, and literally she was on the way to pull money out of the account to give to some random person, and then she went, "Wait a minute, this doesn't make sense." You know, because it's when you're that tired, it just things start to creep up. So there's the personal, mental, and then there's the second thing. If you have not taken some kind of a course or read a list of the things to do and not do, you should go do that right now. And related to that, if you are somebody who's trying to do something like monetizing on TikTok or whatever, you should probably have a backup account just right now. Just if you don't, just create it. And then finally, the idea of just losing some critical part of your digital identity, whether it be social media, whether it be having we had our Amazon account hacked temporarily. We were able to turn things around pretty quickly. We contacted Amazon, we changed their passwords, whatever. But for a short period of time, somebody was in there trying to order things through our account and send them to him or herself. Yeah. That was a few years ago, but anyways, thoughts on any of that?
Yeah, man. I mean, I got to be more careful. I mean, I'm usually really, really good, but I'm trying to think back on any times that I've been reckless lately. I can't recall any, but it's just so easy, like you said, because you had been in contact with this person, and then you were probably like, "Oh, they sent me a link. Maybe I should look at this. Maybe they're just trying to show me something," or whatever the case might be. And hell, man, I might have done that. Fuck. I mean, if I knew the person somewhat, and the thing is that like, this is really prevalent because I've heard of so many different people talk about getting their accounts hacked. My Facebook got hacked. I've had multiple times gotten emails where it said, here's a code for your Facebook, or here's your code for your, for the double authentication thing to come in there. I'm like, no, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. And I immediately go in and change my fucking password. Yeah. Because someone's trying to fucking hack me.
Yep.
And I've had that happen so many times with, like you said, with Amazon, like trying to get in there, trying to get into all my accounts. At least every account I've had that happen at least once. TikTok, not so much. I haven't had anything with TikTok yet. But my Facebook, my Instagram, all these.
Well, the obnoxious thing with TikTok is if you're a creator, like somebody trying to monetize or put out your message, once you get beyond a certain size, then you have people who will steal your content to try and make it look like they are you. Right. And then you have this thing of like, they're tarnishing your brand or whatever. I don't know how else to put it. They're extorting you. Well, no, it's not necessarily that per se, but like
they can. I'm sure they extort a lot of people.
Like one of my favorite creators, I get confused because there are literally dozens of her out there. As in, she's got 2 or 3 real accounts, and then at any given time there will be like 5 others, and so I'll get hit up, and then it's hard to remember which one's her. So what I've started to do is if I follow one that isn't actually her, the nice thing is they all ask to extort money after about 24 hours, and as soon as they do that, block. Just boop, okay, took care of that.
You're talking about a fake account.
A fake account, yes.
Yeah. So somebody like one of these high profile people. Like I've had multiple of those in TikTok where I'll be following somebody who's got, tens of thousands or millions of followers, whatever. And I don't think they're in the millions, but they're pretty high.
Right, 40K, 150, like Hawk, for example.
Yeah, and then I'll have an account for one of these people that come in and they friend me or whatever. And it's like, look, this guy would never fucking friend me. Like, even though it says 15,000 or 10,000, I'm like, this is bullshit. And
sure enough, what they could be doing? They could be somebody who stole an account, like the way this guy stole mine.
Or it could be they just made a fake account.
Right.
And they got a bunch of people to follow it. So, and usually, inevitably, in every case, I believe, within a month or two, that account just has nothing now. Just because it got bounced off.
Right.
It was never a real account to begin with. That's if I don't just delete it right off the bat. because I know like this person's not going to be my fucking friend. Like, you know, they don't even
Yeah.
know me. Like, so anyways.
But just speaking
so
of,
yeah, I've gotten followers before, and I've gotten friends that I know are fucking bullshit, and that's why I go through there all the time and just delete.
Oh, the obnoxious thing about TikTok is you actually have to unfriend somebody even if the account has been banned. So I'll go through and I'll find these different banned accounts, and it's like, well,
I unfriend a bunch of people all the time. I unfriend people all the time. You know, I just know they're bullshit accounts because I go into the account and it's just like 10 posts and it's just some person sitting there.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
But that's what I've discovered on Blue Sky. Blue Sky is really interesting. Like, I'll have these people and I'll think, well, I'm not really sure what I think of them, or maybe I won't even look at all. And then 9 times out of 10, if I get a DM, that's the proof that they're not a real person.
Yeah.
But you can tell, as I put it, if it's a DM where they say, hey, this thing that you like, and they're having a conversation, fine. But if they just say, hey, how are you? Boom, fake. Every time.
Yeah, so, you know, I don't know. Everybody probably knows this shit. But here's the thing. I think, you know, this is really prevalent. It happens a lot. I think, you know, not only things like this with personal identities, but with, you know, all kinds of financial things, and people can get into all kinds of your accounts and things. I think it happens more often than people admit to, because it's embarrassing. I'm very glad that you had the balls to come out and just say, man, hey, this is what happened. Because some people would just be like, you know, they don't want to fucking admit to this shit. So I think it happens so often where people won't even mention it. Only
and I think some of it, and one thing that I've been really, really guilty of, and I know a lot of us are, is we get so obsessed that we're like, oh, we got to be in on it 24/7, blah, 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 blah. Find some way to detach at regular intervals. I don't care whether it's 2 hours before you go to bed, or you just let your device run down and then charge it the next day, or whatever your strategy is. Find a way to separate from.
I'm probably on this shit fucking more than I need to be.
Yeah.
To tell you honestly, to tell you the fucking truth. And, you know, if this isn't your fucking job.
Even if it is your fucking job. Even if it is
let's just say it's, for most people, it's not.
Right.
99.9% of the population, it's not. Get the fuck off.
Yes.
I know I'm fucking like, just shooting myself.
Well, and then the one thing that's, actually, it's not the only thing, but I just had a thought.
Fuck. Stop looking at this shit. Go outside.
It's not. Ironically, even though it seems like there's all this shit out there, a lot of it isn't as wide as you think. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but like, I've gotten to the point where I'll look at an article on Facebook, and then 20 minutes later it pops up the exact same one on TikTok or vice versa.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't have to go to 20 different places to see the same 5 videos. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, here's the thing. You know, I've been trying to, because I like to get my shit going. I still try to have those time periods, like you said, where I'm completely detached. What I have done, though, is incorporate it during other activities. I'm cleaning the house. That's when I'm listening.
Right.
Because I can do something while I'm doing that, right? But when it's time to detach, fucking detach, man. Don't fucking, like, go for the walk or be with your family or be with a friend and still fucking doing this shit. Because be in the moment. Do what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because, you know, this can get addictive. This can get crazy. You could start doom scrolling. You're up all night. I do it, man, and I'm like, why am I doing this? I should be fucking sleeping or watching this fucking documentary. And here I am. Like, that shit, you know what? It's overload. I know what the fuck, like, shit is shitty. I should just be doing enough to have the information I need.
It is possible to be out of the loop, but as long as you're checking in every other day, the world's not going to collapse in 48 hours.
Well, I mean, for some people it is, but my God, like, you know, I saw, and I'm going to do this one last thing. I want to make this quick, but this creator came on here, right? And I understood where he was coming from too, because he was sort of, and I like half agree with him and half don't. He was saying like, shit is bad, especially for certain people, and your anger and frustration should be at the equal level to what is happening to these people, right? And that there are certain people who are saying like, well, I don't have the bandwidth, or it's hurting me too much emotionally to get this invested, and that I don't have it. But and his argument was, well, either do these people, so but they're doing it, so you should too. And it's like, okay, but look, speak for yourself, buddy, because there are certain people. Look, like we had this talk before where you were saying like, this is a long haul. Step back. I think I said that too. Pace yourself, because if you go too hard too fast, you're gonna run out of steam. And for certain people, and you said that, and I said, well, you know what? For some people, they're like, I'm going as hard as I want and say what I want because I have the balls and the bandwidth. Some people do. Like, if you do, good for you. Go ahead. Be out there yelling, screaming, going out.
But honestly, I don't.
Very few people can. But if you can,
I don't mean to like fearmonger or whatever, but if you are really going that hard, you're basically asking ICE to show up at your front door. I'm not kidding.
So what? Some of these people don't care.
Well,
and they invite them.
They should.
Why should they? I like these guys who do this shit. To tell you honestly, Al.
Yeah.
Like, good for them. Good for them. They're like, fuck ICE, fuck you, fuck ICE. They go and they yell at ICE at bullhorns.
No, I'm glad they're doing it, but I don't feel like I can do that without.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Right. You don't have the balls and the bandwidth. So I'm just saying, there's a lot of people who don't. So it's like, look, there are certain people who just won't be able to do that, because what good is somebody who's curled up in a corner, exhausted, and can't like function?
Right.
And there's going to be people that they get.
Well,
to
and my
point.
attitude shouldn't stop the person who has the balls and the bandwidth, but their willingness to do it shouldn't. What's the term?
Look, but I also understand the other side of the coin here, where it's like, well, you should be, because shit's really fucking bad. You should be out in the fucking street screaming and yelling, right? And and like I said, I'm kind of torn here, because there is one side of me that says, look, speak for yourself, because there are people that are in a position in life where they're still healing. Like, you're always healing yourself, right? But they're not healed enough from old wounds
to get new ones.
Inflicted, or have that sort of energy to go out there and do that without it really affecting their psyche in such a way that it's very detrimental. There's also people, once again, that need to, unfortunately, and I know this is going to, God, I hate when prefacing things like that, because it usually means that, you are setting yourself up for trouble. They need to preserve themselves. Like, and I've seen the movie Zone of Interest, so I know that can get really ugly. You know that movie?
No. But...
Okay. It's I don't want to get into the whole movie, but the whole thing is that you are not looking outside of your own interest. It was that movie about those people, Nazis, and they were right next to the Auschwitz, and they're just going about their business, having their gardens, because they're in their zone of interest, because it didn't affect them, while all the screaming and yelling is going on outside the walls. So yes, the staying in your zone of interest because it's not affecting you, a bad thing? Yeah, it is.
That's the opposite extreme, and I'm not condoning that either. Yeah.
Right. So where is the balance?
Well,
that's a hard. I don't agree with him 100% that everybody should be like exhausting themselves today. Look, people have families to feed, dude. If everyone was doing that, what you're saying is that everyone should just completely give up their livelihood right now because this is happening. Maybe he's fucking right. Maybe he's
except
right.
The problem with
all right, so we got cut off.
Yeah,
it gets janky.
We're just going to call this the final words for what might be the final episode before Christmas
or New Year's
of 2025.
So so we ended up with just saying like, well, maybe he's right. And I think a little bit after that, I was just like kind of going off about zone of interest and how like, sometimes that can go too far. And then we were talking about a middle ground.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a middle ground in that, it's a very dicey situation because this is super serious for a lot of people. And, it's very privileged position to sit there and say, well, I got a family. I don't want to do this or I don't want to do that. I don't want to sacrifice anything because it's going to be hard on my family. And then watching other people suffer, So where do you draw that line between self-preservation, being selfish, and helping others and doing what needs to be done? And where does that line get drawn? And my critique of what he was saying is that speak for yourself. Speak for yourself because you don't know everyone's situation. Now, does he have a point? Yeah, he certainly has a point. But speak for yourself.
I think where I might draw the line. There are a lot of lines that could be drawn, but would be awareness and knowledge. If you're dealing with somebody who deliberately or otherwise, is unaware of what the fuck is going on for whatever reason, I don't know how that's possible, but I've seen it, so it is possible, then you trying to wake them up is not a bad thing, and them holding on to their ignorance is not a good thing. That doesn't necessarily mean that they need to go out and be marching or anything, but they need to wake the fuck up enough to know what the fuck is actually happening, period.
Look, at the bare minimum.
At the bare minimum,
what you should be doing is telling people they're full of shit and fuck this shit, you know,
right.
At the bare minimum.
Yeah, and how you do that is...
If you can't do any more than that without losing your fucking job and all this other shit, you know, that's up to you to decide how far you want to take it at this point. You know, if it hasn't affected you to the point where you need to lose your job over it. Will this get so bad that everybody should just fucking quit their job? Maybe, but it hasn't got, I mean, I don't know. I guess for some people, they would say it has gotten that bad. That's a very dicey situation that I don't want to.
I don't think it has gotten that bad. But
not for us.
Not for us.
But I'm trying to be empathetic to the people.
It has gotten that bad for some people. You're correct.
Right. Where they would think, why is nobody helping me? Why isn't anything being done? And, you know, my point being that certain individuals don't have the capacity, and to say that everyone does and that they're just being weak is being unempathetic yourself to those individuals. I understand the point of that some people aren't doing enough and they should be doing more, and I get that, but also, hey buddy, yeah, you know, some people are mentally fragile and they're at that point where they can't take on any more, so just don't go there. Anyways, go ahead.
That's about it. I know what I was going to say earlier, and by earlier I mean like a couple days. I had thoughts in my head. Anyway, if you're watching this, you probably have an internet connection. You probably have a roof over your head, or at least you've got friends or family that you're staying with. You probably have, you know, more than $2 in your bank account. You probably understand technology and social media to some degree. And that in and of itself puts you in a privileged position, believe it or not. So be thankful for that. And if you're on the verge of losing any of that, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be cavalier about it. But keep all that in mind, because despite all of that, yes, things are bad and getting worse. I mean, there were people who survived the camps. Let me just put it that way. You know, like as bad as it might be, if you can say everything that I just said about you're still alive, you still got, you know, you still had a meal today, you still whatever, then you have the ability to make things better. Maybe not you right now, today, this moment, right. But you know, in the grand scheme of things,
right. And if you're a person who needs help, get help.
Right.
Go. You know, if you can, reach out. There's probably people that want to help you, that will try to help you if they can. And if you're an individual who can't help, do what you can. His final last words, because it got cut off again.
Right. So we don't know where it cut off before, but have a good
holiday. We probably won't be back till after the new year, most likely.
Yep.
Maybe.
We might squeeze one in before then, but we're assuming we might not. So
until then, take care of yourself.
Yep.